What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome back to another episode of the Lowlife motherfucking Chopper Podcast.
What's up, you dick cheese McGee's? I've been cracking up about that one for like an hour.
Oh, fuck. We're back. This is the second time for this episode.
Yeah. The Lost episode. This is going to be a little weird. This is our first time doing this, but we're re-recording. Thankfully, Kenny wasn't like, you fucking bozos couldn't clinch an episode. Fuck off, you amateurs. But he agreed to do it again, and we're very thankful for that, Kenny. I hope that we can recreate the magic of that episode because, like I said, it was so much fun. But we're going to try to get through some of our light housekeeping real quick so we can get into this episode because last time we ran over, I think it was like 2.5 hours or whatever. So first up for our 3 S's, show sponsors and shout outs, we got the Worcester Bike Week by EasyCo. That's July 13th, 11 to 6 at Ralph's Diner in Worcester, Massachusetts. That's Worcester, like the sauce. And it is the only bike week that lasts 7 hours because it's so much fucking fun. It's an entire week of bike weeking in 7 hours in the dustiest, hottest parking lot in Worcester, Mass. So better see you there. That's a good time. Like I said, last time we were at Worcester Bike Week, I got so drunk I fainted into a bunch of chairs. And
it was awesome.
Some concerned bystanders had to come to my aid. But we have some other shows coming up real quick.
We got the La Espada Chopper Show, Saturday, May 4th, 2024, 576 Primrose Street, Haverhill, Mass. We have custom bikes, bands, beer, food, vendors, and raffles. Indoor show and a ride-in show starts at noon. Bands and raffles and the awards will start at 4 p.m. If you have any questions, hit up F6T9W on Instagram. Next, we got the Lowlife Lowdown.
Our show.
June 8th, 2024. Just in case you didn't know it was this year. Chopper Show will be at 232 Calif Highway, Epping, New Hampshire. Food, beer, music, raffles, motorcycle show, and biker games. Confirmed biker games. All raffle proceeds are being donated to Operation Purpose. Our homie Perry out there fucking doing God's work. If you missed that episode, go back, check it out, and make sure you put June 8th on the motherfucking calendar. Call out of work, quit your job, whatever you got to do. Make sure you show up because it's going to be amazing.
Lowlife Chopper Podcast. It's Friday. Check us out. Gotta go.
We got this month's giveaway sponsor, Matt from Burnt Up Wood Burning with the LCP plaque, the one-off LCP plaque. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. If you want a chance to win this, I mean, you got to pay to play, baby. It's $10 a month. Sign up on Patreon. Go over to lowlifechopperpodcast.com. Smash that subscribe button. Go ahead and give. I mean, it's one grass-fed beer a month, you cheap bastard. This plaque is one of a kind, which makes it priceless. It's so beautiful. Your wife will let you put it up right in your foyer, which I know you lowlifes all have foyers, but go check out that episode. Got Wood we did with Matt just a couple weeks ago. And I think we're pulling this motherfucker next week. So, or maybe in 2 weeks, a week or two. So sign up when you hear me talking. Just pause this episode right now and then go over to lowlifechopperpodcast.com, smash that Patreon button, sign up at giveaway level support. Next up, we got Bump
you
Shot
told them
Diaries.
to pause before you told them what to do. You like pause it right now. Okay, and this is what you do.
Okay. All right, so then they'll they'll unpause and be like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Okay, and now pause now, and then just do that stuff. Next up, we got Bump Shop Diaries, our permanent coffee collab. While you're over signing up for Patreon, you can also go over to our store and purchase a camp mug. You're going to need one of those if you want something to drink out of while you're camping, unless you're just going to cup your hands together and have your buddies pour hot coffee into them and slurp it up. You're going to need a metal enamel camp mug emblazoned with the LCP logo. If you go and buy one of those, I'm personally going to type you a personalized email that has a $5 off coupon at Bump Shop Diaries for the Black Coffee Congregation Hardtail Blend. Whole bean or ground. Your choice, honey. And I don't have any shout-outs this week. Do you have any shout-outs, fellas?
I do. I want to send a big shout out to my sponsors, Law Tigers, Arizona. You guys, man, killing it. You know, right? Never wants to call, I promise. They've been taking good care of everybody I know here in the Valley, and they're big and smart. They know the law, so they we have your back.
Are they national? Can you get them anywhere?
Yeah, so we actually race in Texas, and Howard is sponsored in Texas. You know, I should ask Jay if it is 100% nationwide. I do believe so, but if not, we're starting out. At least give them a call. Flat Tires, they are all about the racing. So they got it. They're into everything. It's pretty rad, you know.
Yeah, I've seen them in Mass. I think they were at the Easy Times show last year. They had the big inflatable fucking tiger display. Yep. That's fucking cool.
So I mean,
like to get one of those.
I guess it is national, and it might be in various, some states may not, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows when it comes to Detroit stuff?
Yeah, check them out though. Law Tigers. We got to get a huge inflatable animal thing for our show. I agree. For our booth. We just got to pick an animal. It's either going to be a unicorn or a rhino.
Two arm guys.
The crazy arms.
Two arm guys.
Yeah. All right, let's roll into this motherfucking.
One shout out. Okay. One shout out. I just want to shout out Derek Savage. He is building probably the nicest bike I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Super, super fucking nice knucklehead. Go check him out. Derek Savage on Instagram. It's definitely
Next People's Champ.
Checking him out. Yeah, easy Next People's Champ.
Yeah. As soon as he was picked, we were like, yeah, dude, that thing is fucking.
It's so
really
nice.
Clean, dude. Yeah,
so
it's very simple too. That's what I like about it. It's just like he didn't do a bunch of fucking weird shit. It's just like a good looking motorcycle.
Yep.
Is it the blue one? Are you talking about his blue one?
Yeah, the blue one. Yeah.
You're nice. Yeah, dude. Yeah. I think you're gonna win something off that for sure. Probably multiple. Lots of fucking, dude. You're gonna get a lot of hardware out of that. That's a really nice bike. I love that Springer. I like the chrome on it. That and the pipes too. The shakers, the extended ones, those are pretty rad.
Yeah, he does like all that stuff himself too. I've seen him make fucking. I don't know if he did it with this one, but he's made cocktail shakers out of like metal gate components.
Yeah. He's a stud, dude.
Like he's very good at what he does. He doesn't just go and like, dude, literal like chain link fence exhaust components. But I'm really glad to see, like, especially with the Born Free thing, like the gimmicks and stuff. Some of them are pretty cool, you know what I mean? But it kind of felt like a fucking Carrot Top show or something. Like whose gimmick could out gimmick the other gimmick, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's nice to see like some of the bikes now. It's just like, oh, they're just like really well made and really thoughtful, and you don't need a weird gimmick maybe to win, you know what I mean? But and you can't top what is it? California's fucking single handlebar thing. Like anything else is just jumping the shark.
Dude, that thing was fucking nuts.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Dude, that'd be sketchy as fuck.
I've seen it, but I don't know if he rides it. I don't think they've ever talked with him or anything about it. Does he ride it along? Yeah. It's something he rides every day.
He put like regular handlebars on it because he rides like every day. He's like a real rider. But he does weird shit. Like I saw him. I think he replaced it with like extending handlebars. Like there's like something inside, like an internal thing that you can like extend it out. Fucking crazy, but. Yeah, he did ride it at the show though. Like he actually rode it from Cook's Corner and shit.
Nice.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into this motherfucking re-recording, this re-interview. I forget where we started last time, but I think we started with just what is. So you're Kenny from Kenny's House of Horsepower, which is the coolest name. Like every time I say it too, I'm like, I'm just like the Tim Allen, Home Improvement shit. Like I can't get that out of my head because it's just like it's a powerful name. I'm like, if you give this to Kenny, you're going to get some horsepower in that bitch. But tell us a little bit about who you are. What is Kenny's House of Horsepower? How did it get started?
We're at Phoenix, Arizona. I've been at this for 10 years. We were just talking about that last night at the show. It's right on at the 10-year mark. I seen a couple pictures pop up on my Facebook, and I went, damn, 10 years. I've been hard at this. Maybe in 10 years I've had like a month vacation total over that 10 years. We've been pushing.
Oh, fuck.
I do a lot of engines. On an average, probably do anywhere from 30 to 50 engines a year. And Evo, shovel, and some knuckles. I've got stuff that I can't show people. We do so much more, and I don't show it on Instagram or any of the social media stuff. Some people don't like it. You get customers that don't care for it. So we keep it pretty low key on certain things, but we do a ton of engines, transmissions. That's all I really like to do. I don't want to build you a motorcycle. I will if the price is right. But like any type of artist, the more you work, the less you make. And it gets pretty tough once it's said and done of, all the changes, the time that you put into building hundreds, thousands of hours sometimes that gets put over this stuff. And how do you equal it out? And, especially now, we talked about this last time with the economy. How do you equal it out? Everything is such an uproar, world economic and politically, that people don't really want to spend money. And it for me, it puts me in a different position where I don't have to fight the next night. Like what you were just talking about with More Free, the gimmick shit, more and more with advertising. I don't have to. If you didn't notice, I don't really use commercial advertising. I stay busy because I put out good work. Yeah. I put it out for a fair price. And, I make my money off my labor. I do so many of these that it's not really an assembly line, I guess, but, after a while you get to, let's just say in the year period, you do 15, 20 Evos. That's pretty much like an assembly line. You can work it like an assembly line. And there's variances and differences in all throughout the years, but it's just a matter of, going through that stuff and being in depth and working through your parts. But, we just want to specialize in that type of stuff, racing, performance, the generic Evo and shovelhead and bandhead rebuilds, down to all OEM stuff. We try to find with, certain customers, they love OEM, and some guys love aftermarket stuff. Some of the guys that are on a budget, but we do.
So you specialize in, you said 99 and down?
I do. Evo and earlier.
Do you do, I mean, have you done like newer engines and stuff, or do you just don't touch them and you're like, oh, that's too new, send them to another guy?
No, I'll do some twin cams. Okay. I'll do some M8 I'm familiar with them. Still, we're still working through the M8 and the drag bike. You know, we put a pretty good beating on that one. I'm familiar with them. I just prefer to do the vintage work. I like them. It's a little more hands-on. You could actually rebuild that equipment over and over, you know, unlike later model stuff. Some of it's throwaway stuff. So
that's true, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. You get into stuff like, you know, gun cam, some of it's throwaway equipment. You can go buy a new crane super cheap for the cost of a crane rebuild. You could almost buy it brand new for S&S. So why wouldn't you just spend the last couple of $300-400 and just buy the crane for a Dark Horse, or, you know, Revolution makes a pretty good one too, for what I hear, but never use them. I stick with S&S. I breed them out with S&S parts. So I'd have a good lot. All my race bikes have S&S flywheels in them, all the way from the vintage bike that we talked about last time, my black race bike. I'll show it again here in a little bit. And my Kenny Boyce bike, S&S equipment. We believe in it. It's proven. Guys, I mean, look at the pro stock drag bike guys, man. They're running S&S pro stock motors, screaming 7 quarter miles of these things. So
you're a I guess an S&S carb guy too, then, right?
Yeah. That can work them.
Yeah. Is that what you run on your own? I think you said you ran a B or a D or something on your drag bike.
So on the drag bike, it's got a Super D that's been modified, better jet, a little bit bigger bowl to it. We run 116 leaded in that bike. The Woods light is all fuel injection. We've moved to the fuel injection stuff, which, you know, obviously makes tremendous amounts of power. That bike had a 124 in it that was 14 6-to-1 compression, and it was on 116 octane too. Running AP race fuel in it, and it was making 174 horsepower. And oddly enough, we put this and modified to Kenny Boyce bike with stuff in it. I'm making 168 to the rear wheel on 80% tune on pump gas. So there's a huge difference in what's going on, you know, and that's only 13 to 1, right? I mean,
that's pretty crazy, dude.
I
love how you say that's only 13 to 1 compression.
It's the 124 held, geez, like eight or nine national championships on it. And then I don't know if he wants me to tell this story or not, but when we did the swap for the M8 in this thing, I had a guy hit me up and said, "What are you gonna do with that engine?" Hits me up from the Netherlands, Rotterdam, and I'm like, well, never really thought about it. He goes, "Well, I'd like to have it." You know, okay, well, I'm gonna need $8,500 for it. He goes, "Okay, no problem." I said, "Well, what are you planning on putting this thing in?" I said, "Dude, it's like 14 6-to-1 compression with 700 and something lift. What are you gonna do with this thing?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna put it in my chopper and ride it to the bar. I'll have the fastest bar hopper in the Netherlands." And I went, "Okay, shit." And he lied.
Jeez, he's dead now. Leaving the bar. I mean, you're not doing much hopping. after a couple of drinks at that first bar, you know. Dude, that's fucking crazy.
That thing's wicked. I'll be honest with you. I told him, I was like, "You know how much that's going to cost you for fuel? Can you even get that kind of fuel?" And he's the biggest recycler in Rotterdam. He's got this giant company, multimillionaire. He goes, "That's fine. I can just import it. We've got waste." So he's been getting 116 and
must be nice.
Chopper engine riding around on this shit. And I'm like, wow, dude.
Wow.
That's pretty beefy. I mean, it's
yeah.
I don't even understand. It's not street capable by any means.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah, like, what is it? How is it? Did you have to organize the international shipping out there? Or do you do a little bit of international shipping?
I do. I actually have a shipping broker. We have shipped.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah. I got it down to a science, man. So I have a professional crate maker here in town. Here's a hint to my future customers. The crate needs to be 26 by 26 by 26. 200 pounds is what they label it as for the shipping, for the class of shipping. A shovel head in an Evo does not weigh more than 200 pounds. If it does, it's only by a couple of pounds. But if you make that crate in that exact dimension, I promise you it'll be less than 200 pounds. And we've been shipping engines from here to New York for like $330, one way. And I've got customers that'll do it. We've shipped, I've got one in Israel. The guy's actually over there fighting right now. And he says, I wish I could ride my Harley and just drive around and shoot these suckers. And I'm like, wow, dude, I don't even want to think about that with my engine, right? Like, just do your thing, right? I don't want to hear about that. But he told me this last week. I was like, holy shit. I've got him in Israel, Japan. I've got like 6 or 7 in Japan. I've got him in Australia, 4 or 5 there, something like that. Siberia, Malaysia, Indonesia. So I used Freight Center for a really long time out of Florida, and then they just started getting really shiesty through the years, and we moved to Freight Quote, and they've been pretty good to us actually, and giving us really good deals. So it's pretty easy to organize. They just give you a bill of lading, and they give you insurance on it, and you literally just take it down to like Saya or RNL or Yellow or any of those terminals and just drop it off, and then they ship it right to a terminal here. I drive down, I pick it up, and bring it back. I'll load it, take it apart. Last time I just try to make it pretty foolproof for my customers. It's the only thing I can't control is what happens between here and there. What am I supposed to do? That's why we have crews.
Yeah, like if it gets stuck in customs, especially with like engines that have fluids and stuff in them, they get weird, right? Like, but that seems like a headache. How long did it take you to figure out like international shipping to different countries? Because every country has different rules, right?
Oh man. So for like Indonesia and Malaysia, the wood has to be treated and stamped for customs. So that's an extra $90 on the crate. They know it. They know that shit, right? So we'll charge you the extra $90. Thankfully, I buy so many crates from industrial crating that they don't even charge me for it anymore. They're like, whatever, dude, we'll just stamp the crate anyways. Even if it's not leaving the country, we'll stamp it anyways. And that way, for future reference, if somebody does, like one of my customers ships one, sorry to treat you. So I'm giving you a little more there too, and it's super nice because I know there's guys that ship stuff out of the country. You can't lie to me. And then there's the guys that are like, don't ship it out of the country, that's keep it in America. And I'm like, you know what, dude, you're never going to do that. I'm going to be real honest with you. There is so much Harley Davidson stuff going back and forth between every single country that your bitching isn't going to make a difference, dude. And honestly, everybody, you like motorcycles and you like Harley Davidson, then you should be able to get one if you work hard enough to get them. My Israeli customer says, in my country, I've always wanted a Harley Davidson. And in my country, it costs a lot of money. So I became a millionaire so I could buy 4 or 5 of them. And I went, wow, shit.
Cool. Are you hiring?
That right. Super nice guy. And they really get serious over there, and you like Harley, why not, dude? It's like, shouldn't just be bowing or country. It's American made stuff. Be happy we're sending stuff across the globe.
Yeah. Go get yourself a Harley and hang on to it and don't ship it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The thing is too, is like, you were saying like all these little country, everybody wants their palms greased. You know what I mean? Like everybody wants the extra $90 here. Everybody's trying to fuck everybody. You know what I mean? It just drives the price up of everything. But, how about some American millionaires buy up a bunch of Harleys? You know what I mean? But it sucks to keep them in America. You know what I mean? Like if rich people have them, right? Like basically what those guys want is for old, poor men to die and have their wife sell them cheap Harley parts, and cheap Harleys. But that's not going to happen. There's dudes that their literal business is just going to buy up these barn finds for cheap and then reselling them. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it's cool too. I mean, those guys got to eat, you know what I mean? But I think they made enough Harleys that we all have, and there's plenty of unfinished chopper projects out there that you guys can still buy up when people get bored of them. So I think there's enough for everybody.
$45,000 knuckle hits, $2,500 shovel ends. I seen that post the other day on online on a for sale post, and I was like, damn, it's a lot for that bike, but I can't really knock him for asking it. And and then somebody put underneath it, well, that's like a $2,000 bike all day long. And I'm like, dude, see, that's why, engine builders struggle. That's why engine builders struggle, because that type of mentality with certain things is, well, that's only a $500 engine. So why should it cost me X amount to rebuild it? What about mine? $100 an hour is pretty fair. All the shops in town here are $140 an hour. So for me being at $100 an hour, I think that's pretty fair for my tire. And
yeah, how do you quote that? I mean, I guess you've done so many engines, depending on what they want done with it, how much each. I guess you can have like a book of like, all right, I'm going to do a cam and this and that, or if it's just like a straight stock rebuild, like you can kind of quote out exactly. But when you dive in, you might find shit that's fucked up. So you kind of do you typically go, oh, this is going to be around here, and then depending on what you find on the inside, it could be. And you just work with the customer on like what you want to do in certain situations.
Yeah, it's usually once they show up, we were talking about this last time. Usually once they show up, I'm real big on my customers knowing where their money goes. And I was raised, you're not much younger than me. I was raised in a generation by don't trust their auto mechanic, and you never know what they're trying to upsell you the whole way. It's all like going to the phone store and trying to upsell you on everything. So you go in and you're wondering, is this really broken? And it's huge for me to actually know where my money's going. Most of us are on budgets. We all work for a living. So we kind of really need to know. We can't just dive into a vehicle and go, okay, well, there's $10,000 for an engine, It's let's see where it goes. So a lot of the times I just ask for, parts deposit with a certain amount up front. And then once that engine arrives, that way I know you have best interest in it. I'm not just going to be your storage unit for a while. And, as the engine comes apart, I take pictures of this and I share it with my customers. Like, hey, here's some, your cylinders. Here's the wear inside your cylinders. Here's the wear inside your guides. As I measure everything, I kind of show and give my customers a bit of an experience of what's really truly going on in their engine. A lot of these guys don't know what's going on. They wouldn't have a clue how to put a cam in or push rods. I got a family member that's close to me. I'm not going to say who he is, but man, that guy can't adjust push rods for shit. And he's still to this day struggling to get 4 turns. He doesn't know, so, and he's an electrical engineer. So, he just doesn't know engines, so I get a lot of customers that are like that. So I try to make it, really in depth of what I share.
Like just transparent, right? Really. And like what you touched on there too is like the importance of small independent business owners that have integrity, that like I went and I got a Subaru and they do free inspections or whatever. I brought it to get an inspection when it was inspection time, and they gave me a laundry list of shit that I needed to get replaced, and it's all itemized out. And one of the fucking things, I swear to Christ, was a dome light was a bit dim, and they wanted $50 to replace it. $50 to replace a dome light.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, where's the integrity in that? You know what I mean? Like, how can you with good conscience, like, give someone a fucking bill for $50 for a fucking dome light? You know what I mean? And they said I needed a new serpentine belt because I had a tear in it. Guess what? I went to a reputable mechanic, fat man, and he looked at it and he goes, "There's no fucking tear in this thing." They're just straight up lying to your face. You know what I mean? So you can't trust corporations. You can't trust like the man to give you like an honest fucking an honest quote. You have to go to small independent business owners. They're the ones that, like you said earlier, it's like you don't do a lot of advertising. Your word is your bond, and that needs to be as strong as oak. And if you fuck people over, you're not going to be in business very long. You know what I mean? If you only do word of mouth advertising and it's shit, you're going to be out of business pretty damn quick.
That is a fact. You know, a guy here in town, he builds engines. Name's RJ. He's been doing this a long time. Very smart guy, but teachers know him. He's been doing this 30 years here in the Valley. And he says, one of the best pieces of advice he's ever given me, and I'll repeat it. If you haven't had problems, you haven't done enough of them. And you haven't been through enough customers. Eventually it's going to happen. And you're going to get an asshole. And you're going to get a guy who feels entitled to, hey, I spent $1,700 with you. And now you're going to be my punching bag because I'm really pissed off because my mic doesn't work or I've had a bad day. I've caught that several different times throughout people. I just kind of let them go. And I'm like, hey, so how are we going to take care of this? And let's move forward. If it's something I've done, of course I'm going to take care of it. If it's a part, and it's a brand new part, we're going to talk to the manufacturer about it because that's going to fall on them. With the engine thing, this is huge. I think about this a lot. I do my job. I do it where people can see it. I show you pictures. If you can't do it without people, okay, somebody once told me, if you can't do your job with people watching, they're probably not a professional. So show them what you're doing. Share those things with them. Plus, you're sharing a little bit of knowledge to your customer, and they're getting to actually see what's going on instead of just taking their bike to a shop, major corporation. They do the job, they write it on a piece of paper, and they send the guy down the road. A lot of people like that, and that works great. A lot of guys in depth that ride choppers, street race bikes, cruisers, they're not into that. They want to really know what's going on. And if you share this stuff with them, it goes a long ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about how you got into building engines, because I love this story because it's a quintessential tale of a eager young boy and a grizzled old man.
Oh, no. Fucking go through that.
Taking you under his wing.
I just talked to him yesterday, and he's grumpy as ever, man. I'm like, whatever, dude. Do you want to cut some panhead bow seats for me? I asked him, he's like, so once you drive over, I want you to help me out with these panhead seats. And he's like, well, no, you're going to have to drive over here. I'm like, fuck, I ain't driving 14 miles for you to cut these things. I'll go cut the motherfuckers myself. But I wanted to come over and spend some time, but he never wants to, man. He's just getting old, and these guys,
yeah,
these old timers, they've had a hard life. They've been out on the road racing and through all the years and lifting engines. Geez, how many engines do you think you can lift before your bike says this is enough? 175 pounds. Right. No, man, I love Russ. Russ is my teacher. He's like a second father figure to me. He's been very good. And no matter the house we're in, we rent to own this from him. Got a shop in the back, little machine shop. And we do a lot of work out of here, and pretty crazy how we met. Actually, we had this neighbor in the back that we absolutely hated, and somehow we ended up mutually bonding over that. I happened to hear his drag
the hatred of your neighbor,
the fucking hatred of the guy. And at first we had talked, and I'm thinking about this. We had talked, and I never really even knew that he did engines or anything like that. And we only talked like a brief 2 or 3 minutes. And then I heard the Kenny voice bike start up, and I was like, "What the fuck is that? That thing sounds rowdy." He's rowdy it up, So then I go over and we start talking, and man, next thing you know, I'm over there honing cylinders and bead blasting stuff and doing valve jobs, and he's teaching you this stuff along the way. And each engine's shit, man. The first set of cylinders I ever honed were for a 1930 DL. That's actually in a museum now in Oregon. Very nice bike.
Shit.
Yeah, Mark Dunn is another teacher of mine. Him and Russ are pretty good friends. I got to meet Mark through Russ, along with Dr. Lockwood. All these guys have known each other for like 40 years in the Valley. They've all been working on bikes. And I just kind of started getting passed around to all these knowledgeable builders. And, dude, I learned so much from these guys over the years. I can't be, to get the news that I got yesterday and think back about all that, it's like, man, pretty blessed. The right place, right time, and I just kept with it. For us, winning national championships, drag racing, this bike, I think I shared this last time. Let's see if I can still out there. I don't know if it'll let me swap on this camera. No. So the black drag bike sitting against the wall back there, that actually holds like 8 national championships. And it's considered a Pro Line, Pro Gas Series. Super fast. 870s on the bottle. Like high 9s, low 10s off the bottle. It runs 116 octane fuel as well. Takes a remote starter to start that bike. It's a Mitsubishi airplane. Oh, it's wicked fast. And if you ever stole through my stuff later and you're looking, it's amazing that bike is so geometry correct that it only pulls the wheel up like this far off the ground. You can't see it much because as soon as it goes, it just kind of squats and goes, but it'll hold that wheel up for at least 200 feet. It just powers through it. And it's air shift, hydraulic driven, air shift assisted ratchet top 4-speed with that Baker main shaft I was telling you about, where it was 4-speed inside, 5-speed spline shaft outside. And there's only so many of those left. And if you ever get a chance, I highly recommend buying one from Baker. They're pretty cool. We've been putting like 90s model clutch baskets on a ratchet top 4-speed and twin cam baskets. We ran 1094 on a twin cam clutch basket on a ratchet top 4-speed. Doesn't that sound like people are like, what the fuck? Seriously? Like,
it sounds so fucking cool.
The bike's super fun. And, Wes built this in the 90s and won a bunch of stuff all the way from like Atlanta to Houston, Woodburn, Oregon, California, here, Colorado. This bike's been all over, and it's won so much stuff in the AHDRA. I went to Sturgis. As I'm learning from these guys, this bike sat in the shop next to another nitro bike. And the guy that owned both of those bikes passed away, and we were leasing the shop. And these guys were all friends. So we were leasing it from his widow. And she wanted to sell the bikes. And part of the agreement is helping her sell some of the stuff out of the shop as time went on, that I wanted to buy this bike. Well, it just so happens that I met a guy from the Hamsters who they asked that. And he says, hey man, you should come up and work for us at this event in Sturgis, and room and board paid and $5,000 and et cetera, et cetera. So I went up, worked for him, came back, bought the bike, and man, things have progressed from there. We had so much fun with it. Race in California, here in Arizona, Truett and Osborne in Kansas, the world's longest running Harley drags. It's been a lot of fun.
Oh shit.
No shit.
Yep. And getting to know Russ a little bit, he turned me on to his teacher, Tim Wharton, who we were talking about his panhead, the Silver Ghost. That thing was the fastest panhead in the Southwest. And I dug for that picture. I was going to show it to you this time, and I can't find it anywhere. He had the fastest panhead in the Southwest in the AHDRA, All Harley Drag Racing Association, for many years. People couldn't catch it. This thing was super cool. And I mean, you open the rockers, the rocker pans up top. It's not panhead stuff in there anymore. It's all Evolution style rocker arms in there. It's pretty rad. This guy engineered some cool ass shit, dude. And eventually that bike will be mine. I've been told that it will be passed to me. I'm the only guy that really knows. I've been in that engine so many times throughout the years that I'm the only guy that would really know. Some fucking hipster out there would get it and be like, what's this shit? And then be like, fuck these heads and throw, sell them at a swap meet.
Oh, yeah.
Really, this thing's super wicked fast bike. Like that would kill me to see that, but
That's the coolest thing about all this shit is that it's like mating like the old stuff with like new stuff, like going overboard. You know what I mean? It's all still like mechanical. Like you're talking like like evolution rocker arms inside of a panhead. You know what I mean? Like that takes some fucking. It's not just like bolt on stuff. It takes some engineering, like mechanical engineering, to get that stuff to fit up. But why do that, right? Like why go through all the trouble of putting newer stuff in I guess backporting it into older technology like ratchet tops and panheads?
Why? Because even into the M8 stuff, you resort back to the older technology, the ductile iron cylinders. If you want to make power, you bolt them to the cases. You bolt the heads down to the cylinder flanges. They got to be on separate units, to make a Promos style engine. Ratchet top 4 speeds with that type of main shaft, that Woodruff key, it really bit me in the ass. We laughed about this last time when I showed you guys my offering of the speed guns out there on the tree. That bike will drink. That bike will drink 100 shot of nitrous, 50 coming out of the hole, and then another 54 seconds later on the play box, right? And we were out. Scott and 2 wheels. I love that dude. I wish I knew where he disappeared to. He just got on his bike and fucking disappeared one day. And he was the best race bike helper I ever had, man. And I've never seen him since. So if you hear this, Scotty, you come back. We need you. Man, we get out there and the junior dragster guys can't stand the junior dragster parents, man. They are entitled. The track, they own the track, right? They've got these big toter homes, $500,000 toter homes. They show up, right? It's a Friday night. And they have divisionals the next day on Saturday and Sunday, right? So they've got this divisional national thing going on. We're there for Friday night. So we should be moved to the front of the line. But unfortunately, the line's like all the way down and around the corner, at least a mile down the road or something like that, right? So we jump around, we go up to the front, we pull up to the gate. As soon as I get out of the truck, I've got 5 junior dragster dads in my face screaming at me about how we should go to the back of the line. They've been waiting since 9 o'clock in the morning. There's no reason I should be going in, et cetera, et cetera. So then already I should have known right there to just turn around and go home. Bad things were probably coming. But I wanted to race, man. I wanted to go have fun and ride my bike. And so as we set up, we get in, we set up. They're coming in, they're getting set up. A couple hours goes by, and then all these guys are walking by talking crap, right? And I'm like, whatever. This night's kind of weird anyways, whatever. Let's turn the bottle on, Scotty, and let's see what this thing does. We had never really turned it on before. And only in like small dosages, right? And the bike's done it many times before. Like Russ had it and Brent had it, and they were doing all the HDRA stuff. So we were just like opening up and experimenting with the nitrous, and it definitely did its job plus some. Put it on, we warm up the bottle, I roll out, get my burnout, get to the light, stage it up, and get like quarter throttle in. And this thing's got a switch on it. So when you turn on all the nitrous and you arm it all, it doesn't actually activate until you're full throttle, right? So as soon as I let this thing go on a green light, it's kicking an extra 50 out of the already 200 that bike is producing. So it goes. And I get 4 seconds into this thing, and I'm thinking, cool, it's coming. So it turns on the extra 50, and I hear it just rev all the way up, and I'm like, holy shit, I thought the tire blew off, So I let up and get back into it. A little part of the way, I start going 50 feet from the end of the line. This thing starts not being very happy. Well, I ended up knocking the bow heads, off the stems, both intake and exhaust on the front. The lifter wheel took a shit. And it was pretty catastrophic, actually. It took me months to fix them heads. And I got pretty lucky, actually, to be honest with you. Pretty
Did the valve drop down into the cylinders or no?
Yeah. Yeah, basically what happened was the wheel came off of the lifter, and so it shot it to about $7,000. And basically what happened was when I thought the tire blew off, it actually had separated the woodruff key. It sheared it completely off and left the lower half of the woodruff key in the main shaft and pushed this way on the shaft so hard that it split the hub and it friction welded itself to the main shaft of that transmission. And it would still, this happened so fast, right? And then I let out the clutch at the end of the track, and it had to have it must have stuck it open. It just must have stuck the valve open, and that's when I let out the clutch from my pre-roll. It went chunk, and I heard it, and I pulled the clutch right back in, and I went, "Fuck, that's not a good sound." When I got home, and I pulled all that apart. Man, put a $50 hole in the piston like that. The valve actually fit inside in the pocket of that hole. Those cylinders are you can't replace those cylinders. They're the original SMS.
Did it just kiss the top of the piston to get up on the cylinders too?
I got lucky. It just slammed the head of the valve right dead center of the piston, and it was raised far enough up from the wrist pin that it was able to hold the valve and just beat it around in there. And a couple of, dude, we had to basically weld the whole entire inside of that head up and then mill it back down and add new seats to it. It was pretty hammered. STD heads.
Shit.
I wasn't about to come off of those. We were talking about the speed and science stuff last time. And that would be the only replacement heads I would ever put on that bike. The CNC ported with the gas ported. Those things are so nice to what they are.
Yeah.
Oh, those things are killer.
Oh yeah, they do good shit. I'm always like, wow, dude, that I've never seen anybody. I mean, it's expensive stuff. Nobody in my friend group would ever consider spending that kind of money, but that shit looks like fucking the elite shit, But I don't know much about drag racing bikes, believe it or not, and I'm assuming some of our listeners don't either. But so when you're doing these drag races, is it part of a league or something, or are you just doing it for funsies, or what do you, or both, or what are you doing? How does that work? I'm not a big NASCAR guy either, so I'm assuming it has something to do. There's an association that manages this stuff, or
so there's All Harley Drag Racing Association, the AHDRA. They're huge on the East Coast, somewhat in the Midwest. It used to be nationwide. They had so many people involved in the 90s and the 80s, and it was huge. The purses were 10, 15 grand, and they would fill the stands. And over time, yeah, man, it was big. There's Raceman Cup. There's tons of little leagues. There's the BTRA guys out of Texas. And those guys, I gotta say, man, they are fast. Them Texas boys, holy shit, they are representing for hauling ass. I've seen some of these guys down there clocking 7-second quarter miles on street bikes. Damn. There's a company down there. You just have to look around. I'm not going to give a shout out. I'm not promoting business for them. Let them do their thing. But they're super fast. They're coming. We're going to come for some of those titles. NHRA.
Yeah, Texas is like that all around. Even in building streetcars and shit. Texas is the same way. They're known to be some of the fastest guys on the street.
Yeah. They don't play down there. Between there and California, I've seen a lot of the California street racer guys. I don't know if you've seen any of that stuff pop up in your feed on Instagram every once in a while. There's a whole thing going on in the Bay Area in Los Angeles, man. These street racers, they're over there racing for $10,000 and $20,000 every Friday night. And they've got some fast M8 bikes running on methanol. Shout out to you guys. You guys are definitely killing it. I got some stuff to learn from them for sure. Amazing, and then when they come to the track and they get in on the events, they crush it, man. It's insane. You were asking about the clubs and the leagues. NHRA, it's cool. I'm not going to badmouth them. I prefer outlaw style drag racing. I like to go to events where kind of the average guy can just show up and race, and he's not pestered and having to have a Snell 2020 helmet and or a 2024 Snell helmet that cost you $900 to own, or You got to go to cycling. Oh man, my helmet from my racing helmet was like $9, almost $1,000 for running sevens. And I prefer outlaw style stuff. That way, if you wanted to come, you guys could get your street bikes out. Verona, California is like that. Truett and Osborne's like that. You show up, they'll check your bike. They know me well enough by now that they just pull up a pair of binoculars and go, "Where you parked at?" Cool, man. It's on the line.
From here.
Yeah, right. So they're more of you signed a line. That's what it is. You know what you're doing when you come out here, and you don't have to go through all these weird bullshit safety crap things. If you get a tip over sensor and a little pull chain, that's really all they really require. Boots and gloves, helmet, jeans. Average Joe can come out and race for $45 a night and get 10 passes in. It's kind of fun. You get
that's cool.
Yeah, you get into the NHRA stuff, and it's like, dude.
Do they do they let you wear those helmet? Does it have to be like a certain rating, or can you wear those helmets that look like a baseball hat?
Oh,
have you guys seen those?
Not gonna happen. So if you run,
it's not gonna happen.
They're so fucking stupid, dude.
If you run, basically they require.
Hey, I'm gonna run and piss real quick. Keep talking.
They require for like $9.99 or faster, you have to have quite a bit of gear and actually an NHRA license and a physical. You got legal physical and all that stuff to be able to go that fast.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. So if you start running the sevens, it requires an even bigger physical package from the doctor and some signatures. Yeah, they're pretty serious about it. You got to be in shape. Them bikes will really get after it. 1,000 horsepower, you got to be able to physically be able to control this motorcycle.
Really? So what, like physical things, like what are they checking? Like I guess obviously they don't want you to have like narcolepsy or fucking like arthritis and shit, right?
They don't.
Like what other things are they checking?
Want to make sure you don't have a stroke or a heart attack while you have this 1,000 horsepower thing cracked wide open. It's like, I've seen these things. They got enough power. You get 230 mile an hour on a motorcycle, and it's like you don't lift up. You stay laid down. It could. If you're an older guy, I see a lot of older men. No disrespect to them, they got a lot of balls. I'm stoked that they're out there doing it. They're still living their dream at that age. But god damn, some of these guys in their 70s doing it. I'm like, you sure you're not gonna have a fucking heart attack while you're operating this thing? And you're rocking 1,000 horsepower. It's pretty dangerous. So they make you go in and take a physical, or like, it's a full physical, just like going through a yearly checkup, and you gotta have your doctor sign off on the NHRA card and all that stuff. So they're pretty serious about it. I actually have a license. It's a lot of work. You got to go through testing, burnouts, and full passes, and safety tech. You got to know your safety stuff, and they always rail.
Is it like the same way with cars? Like you have to do so many passes on this level, and then you have to do so many passes on this level. You know what I mean? Like in time range. Like you can't just go there and run a 6 and just keep running 6s. Like you gotta do so many 10-second passes, so many 8-second passes. To get license, is it the same or no?
Yeah, when you go to get your license, they basically make you do your safety tech stuff, and then you go and do a burnout. They want to make you do a burnout, and then they make you do a half track pass. So basically 660 feet, you let off the throttle. You're looking at like third tone down or something like that. And you let off the throttle, and then you just roll it to the end. And then you come back, you do your burnout, and you do your full track pass. And that's usually what it takes to get it. But you better run the 999 or faster, or you're not going to get it. So you gotta be on it. And the other part is, if you go out there to do your testing and your bike keeps breaking, it looks really bad on you. Tech inspect's gonna be like, what the hell are you doing, dude? Are you riding a piece of shit or what? Like, when they start looking at you harder.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't be going this fast.
Yeah, they start looking at you harder. Yeah. I've gotten to the point here where I'm so well known at Wild Horse Pass that they still look it over. They just don't hassle me like they used to. The black bike, it's got the stickers on it. It's got the stickers on it from 1990 still. So we've never washed them off. We're not going to wash them off. That bike never had a bath in its life. It just never gets dirty. And, they start seeing those stickers and they're like, well, all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this guy
too
probably
fast
knows.
for the dust. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder.
Oh, shit. So, I guess, how'd you get you're into drag racing? Did you grow up like racing motorcycles and shit, or like when were you like one of those dirt bike kids, or like how'd you get into just motorcycles in general?
My dad. We grew up. I grew up. First home, stepdad. He's from California. When he met my mom, he had a panhead, and it was a basket case.
Sick.
Yeah, right. And time went on. The poor man sacrificed his panhead so we could keep living, and it. I know it totally bummed him out. And then through the years as I got older, it got more harder to get one of those back. And even then, it was a huge goal for these guys. To be able to afford another panhead. It was a 56. That's his birth year. And we still been on the hunt for one, and
Oh, damn.
not gonna have it at this fucking prices. I'll tell you that. It's he used to keep Easy Riders laying out, and I'd see that stuff as a kid, and I kind of got distracted through the years, got into some other stuff. I was telling you, I was a repo man for a lot of years. I did, railroad car fabrication years before, so I do have some fabrication history and mechanical history. Hey, big troublemakers.
You talk to your wife like that?
Yeah, right. Good thing we're not married, huh? I'd probably get beat up. He kept us into bikes. My grandpa owned a Napa Auto Parts for like 40 years. He was a World War II veteran, came back. He was a bombardier and a B-29 Liberator. And he came back and opened up a Napa store, and they did that for years. And that's kind of where we talked about in the whole trusting your mechanic thing. Oh, my grandpa would tell me all the time, yeah, I sell them parts. So just be aware, as you get older, mechanics aren't always what they seem, so if the part background, you want to listen. My uncle Kenny, he owned Ken's Small Engine Repair. It's in our family, man. Automobiles and motorcycles and shit. Like he did chainsaws and weed eaters, small engine repair. He was good at that. Small 2-stroke bikes. My grandpa restored vehicles. My dad rode Harleys. My real dad rode Harleys. My stepdad. My uncle put us on these little, were they PW50s? They were yellow back in the year. Yeah, with the little black stripe on it, the yellow PW or whatever it was. We rode those. They were little automatics. I've been riding since I was 6, man. And we did years and years of dirt, go-karts and golf carts. It's always been something we've always done. And my cousin Chuck's, it's my road dog. We've been a lot of places on motorcycles. We've gotten in a lot of trouble on motorcycles. We've done a lot of stupid shit on motorcycles, but we've had fun. It's.
Did you grow up out in Arizona?
No, I'm from Kansas originally.
Oh, Kansas. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we rode around out in the woods out there and all throughout the country roads, and there's I had fun doing it, man. All these years to think and see how it's progressed from riding like those little Yamaha 50s all the way up to I've ridden nitromethane bikes in Temple, won some money. We talked about that in the last one. That was a lot of fun. Shout out to Russell, man. I really love you. I appreciate you, bro. You don't even know. It kind of took me to a whole new realm of motorcycles. Riding a nitro bike, insane, dudes. That bike was insane. It's like 600 horsepower.
I bet.
Oh, did we?
I should be reconnecting.
I think so.
Am I back?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. I just dropped for a second.
You did?
Did I not drop for you?
No.
Okay. Kenny, you still with us?
Yep, I'm still with you here.
Okay. Yeah. I got a little notification that said reconnecting.
Yeah, I had a little connection thing here too. That's why I was kind of wondering. But
okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna make sure it's still uploading.
Hey, at least this time we'll know that we at least have an hour. We'll take that hour
it'll just be a really
20
short
minutes
show
from last time and put it together.
Oh yeah, there you go. I know I'm trying to ask some of the same questions because we had some good conversations and stuff. It's kind of, I know it's a little weird because it's like Kenny's like, you already fucking asked me to try to do it for the viewers.
I'm still trying to remember some of them from that show.
Yeah,
that was a
I
good.
know.
It was a great show too, man. This is gonna be good. I appreciate it.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, I love the fact
Yeah.
you know, thank you. I appreciate it. It's that means a lot. I'm pretty stoked. You know, I've done a couple in the past. It's always kind of so it's kind of weird. I'm not used to doing this stuff, you know, and because we've like climbed through the years, I've had to do more of them, and I always feel awkward. I'm always stoned. I'm not gonna lie. I'm always stoned at a time. I kind of keep the feel level. But
yeah. So what other shows you went? If people want to check it out, I mean, you said you were on Danger Dan, and then what was the other one? Oh, Crazy Gentleman.
Yes, Rob, love you, Rob.
Okay.
Look at it.
Rob's the fucking man. Yeah, I love Rob. That dude is a blast all the time.
And he puts down the miles. Him and Rick, both.
Yeah.
Rick's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rick and Rob have both been out here, and we did the podcast out here in the shop. That was a lot of fun. And, you know, this stuff means a lot to me. You know, that you were like, man, we got Kenny here, and you guys are all like, hey, super stoked on it. Well, dude, I'm super stoked that you had me because this is huge for us as we gain momentum. You know, 10 years of doing this, and it really hasn't even started to come into play except for the last couple of years of how hard we pushed and, you know, going to Sturgis and going up there, you know, podcasts, doing this stuff. It's huge. I can't say thanks enough, guys, without a doubt.
Yeah, dude, this is, I mean, I you know, it's like, we always talk about, you know, me and Loctite like doing the episodes where it's just us because it's so chill, you know what I mean? But really the core of the podcast is like, I mean, everything that goes into interviewing people, you know what I mean? Like, cause like I've followed you for a long time and I'm like, oh yeah, dude, Kenny's the man. You know what I mean? Like Kenny's has horsepower. He's the guy to build fucking engines. You know what I mean? He's a cool guy. I watch your reels and shit. And then I forget how we got connected. I think you reached out or you said something or whatever, like, hey, or did I reach out to you? I forget how this whole thing came about. Yeah, I forget either, but we were talking with something, you know, like we commented on a story or whatever the fuck it was. And then I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh, Kenny likes us? Like I'm in the same boat. I'm like, why does anybody like us? You know what I mean? Like, why does anybody want to come on this show? You know what I mean? And I think that's just like the type of dudes that like we all are. You know what I mean? Like people that get into this culture and shit. You know what I mean? Like they're so humble to a fault. You know what I mean? Like they're like I'm a piece of shit and I suck at what I do, and like. And they're so amazed by everybody, you know, like they're so stoked, like your friends making it, you know, building a bike and you're like, dude, the fucking paint job's insane. You're so creative, you know, and that's what like draws these people together. You know what I mean? It's because like everybody's constantly trying to get better at doing things and building skills and stuff like that. And we're all so impressed with each other. You know what I mean? Because it's like, dude, we're all just a bunch of fucking like, you know, we shouldn't be where we are, you know what I mean? Like we shouldn't have like cool old bikes and we shouldn't have like cool businesses and we shouldn't like we're a bunch of dirt bags, you know. We swear too much, we smoke weed, we fucking drink too much. But that's the beauty of it. Everybody's actually like all that stuff doesn't even matter. It's been a lie from the beginning. It's like that doesn't actually make you a dirt bag. You know what I mean? Like we have our vices, sure, but like we're all really good people and we're all stoked on like we're all super into the like what we're doing and like that's I don't know. I could go on and on about it, but it's like that's the magic for it for me is like you get to hang out with cool guys that are into cool shit, and you don't have to like constantly be watching like what you say. You know what I mean? Like you go to a family outing or something, and it's like, oh, I shouldn't have brought that up. You know what I mean?
Yep. I like getting out on the road. You know, you find yourself on the road. I've done a lot of trips, 1,000-mile trips, quick trips, you know, and you really tend to figure out who you are and what you're capable of while being on the road, especially if you start riding choppers. At the age I'm off, there's no fucking way I'm riding a ridges across the country. So I happen to. But I've been there, you know, and it's
yeah.
I rode a Sportster from here to Sturgis on the 75th. That was pretty fun. That was a trip. But you really find yourself on the road and you really get to bond with people. There's riding in town. There's riding down the highway to the next town. And then there's, you know, several 100-mile trips. And you get to know people more and more. And you get to know their riding habits. And Special Bob, kid here in town, Anthony, that kid can ride. It's got a nice shovel head. It's called Cinnamon Girl. And I built the engine in it. And that guy and I, we can plow through mountains at like 65 miles an hour sitting next to each other. And you just learn to stagger in and out, you know. Once you get to know somebody's riding habits, you really start to get to know them more, like understanding what kind of a person they are by their riding habits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Are they a cautious person?
Well,
are they like
because the thing is the thing about like riding with someone, especially if you're like riding really closely or for a long period of time, you're super considerate. You know what I mean? Like if you're a cager in a car, you are inconsiderate to other drivers. You know what I mean? Like the littlest indiscretion is met by like swearing and fucking middle fingers. But like when you're riding with someone, it's so fucking dangerous, especially if you're riding close, you know, through twisties or like if you're peg to peg. It's like you're more concerned about your buddy in his well-being or her well-being than your own. You know what I mean? You're like, I can't fuck up because I don't want to hurt them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's man, I've been on rides where there's tons of people and there was honestly no organization. You gotta have some sort of organization. People end up getting hurt. Dude, I try to keep my circle pretty small. Believe it or not, I don't have a bunch of friends. The more you progress into something and you start burning through engines and business work, we talked about last time. I own the rust removal business, so I've got that, you know, going on the side too. And once you start doing business every day, every week, all year long, and you start encountering customers, you really start figuring out who your friends are and who aren't your friends. Especially when it comes to stuff like this. I've had a lot of approachment where it's like, hey buddy, hey pal, hey friend, hey, and the greatest one, hey brother. And I'm like, no, listen, I already know where this is leading to. And that's why I think I made a comment on.
You're like, hold on, is that an Affliction t-shirt?
Yeah. Oh, no.
Back up. I ain't your brother.
Right. Oh man. We've had to learn to decipher a lot of the differences. As a small business owner, as time goes on, it gets pretty tough. I love working on motorcycles. I love building engines. Some of the people that come with it, I've emotionally invested myself into as time's gone. And you've cut people deals, and then you realize after time either they never really came back, or you know, you didn't get a, hey man, what's going on? How's life? Nothing like that, you know. And that was how I was in the beginning. I was really emotionally invested into like, hey, I just want to meet new people and ride motorcycles and ride up into the mountain, bird these chopper runs. And then business started happening. And then people started realizing I have some talent. And, you know, it's hey friend, hey pal, you own them. And you hook them up and then you never see them again or they never call or none of that shit. And like, I just figured, you know what? It's progressing like it is. I gotta start treating it like a business. So, you know, learning curve 101 on, you know, small business. You can't be emotionally invested in all this. And
So what's what's your what do you do, right? Because I mean, like at this point, have all those people have been written off, or do you still get approached by people that try to pull that shit, and you just have you have a hard stop, and you're just like, oh well, the price is the price type of thing.
I'm pretty sad about the price. I'm pretty on. But I also don't like. It depends. Usually, when you send me an engine, I require $1,000 parts deposit, and that's as soon as the engine shows up. And that way, I don't have to wait to order parts. As soon as this thing's coming on the teardown table, I can start making a list of what we need, and then I go inside and order the parts, get the part rolling. I treat it like this. Usually, standard price on Evos and shovels are pretty easy to rebuild for the most part. $1,850 on the shovels, but the price goes up now. I mean, as time's gone on, we started at a certain rate, then we were at $1,850. It's $2,000, man. It takes about 20 hours to do one of these the right way. You know,
now that's that's $1,850 labor cost.
That's labor cost plus parts. So you're looking at about $3,000 plus your shipping.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, that's
there's no way you're ordering these parts and doing labor for $1,850.
Well, no, I'd be living in a box.
Yeah.
Someone just shows up with a milk crate full of rusted parts, and they're like, "Yeah, $2,000.
Yeah,
rebuild it. There's some parts missing."
I know there's shops that are like, no, it's by the hour, it's this and this and this. Well, here's the thing. I do have a home-based shop, and for a reason. I don't do service work. I don't just do random top-end repairs. Like, usually that's the stuff that gets brought to me to the machine, and then those guys go back and do it. I do a ton of work for some of these shops around. Valve jobs, guides, cylinder honing, flywheels. I do a ton of that stuff. So, I don't really have to do brake jobs and oil changes, and I'm not into it. And
did you ever dabble in that? I mean, like through your journey, did you start doing some of that shit and you're just like, not worth it?
Service work pays the bills. However, if you can find your niche like I have with what I do and standard engine builders, it'll stack up on you so fast that you won't have to do that type of stuff. You'll have so much work that you'll basically set yourself up. I basically pay myself monthly, and
it's pretty much a dying breed too. So it's like you're locked in. You know what I mean? Like, people aren't just jumping into being like dedicated engine builders anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I'm building a Camaro right now, and I was looking for somebody to build like a nice street fucking strip tranny, and there's nobody anymore. There's literally fucking nobody that builds like high horsepower transmissions anymore.
Yeah. It's all by electric cars, the whole electric car bullshit. It's killing a lot of it. And the economy, the way people feel like they can get stuff directly to the door, why would they want to, they just order a brand new one. But you're right. It is a niche. And we've had our ups and downs with it. I've had customers take stuff home. It's so hard. This is something I wanted to touch on. And I hope people hear this. What we call is a cash and carry engine. It's when you bring me an engine and I rebuild it and I send it home for you to install. It's cash and carry, essentially, right? That's technically the name on it. All I can really guarantee is that thing's going to be correct. It's going to have compression. It's going to run. It's going to have oil pressure, and it's going to last you. What else can I really guarantee other than that? I can't say all the other stuff is done correctly, of course, right? I can't say it's going to get 100,000 miles out of it. Fuck, we don't know. It could bend a push rod one day for whatever dumb reason, or it could drop a lifter wheel, or it could snap the oil pump shaft. I've seen so much stuff out of these engines. I've had some of the worst engines on the planet come here. I'm amazed. I don't know if you look through my stuff and seen the one, I'll send it to you. They brought it in and they used all thread for cylinder studs on an Evo. All thread. This long. Oh, I did not think that was going to stretch. I've had some of the worst, and I rebuild these things, and I run them for 60 minutes, 10-minute periods, or, a couple 5-minute periods, and then it's a 10-minute periods with the fan on it. I can guarantee
That's
that.
plenty of time to see if something is bad.
I'm telling you,
Plenty.
right? With the idle up, you always start an engine off, a new engine off with the idle up. You'd want to, get it up there, get the oil pressure going up quick. You don't want to lug it. You don't want to lug roller lifters like that. It's terrible on it. Everybody wants that potato sound. What they don't realize is that you're beating the fucking lifter wheels and needle barriers, and they're terribly bad, and they don't like that. Take it up a little bit, and keep that cam in those lifters moving, especially on a brand new engine. Why would you do that? So you run your first 2 heat cycles, 5 minutes, whatever, higher up RPM, keep it on it. I go through with a thermal scanner from Snap-on. It's a FLIR system. I can literally see the whole engine and where all the hot spots are. I analyze all this as I pour the oil out from the oil bag. We wash that bag out every engine. I put a new filter on it every engine. 2 quarts of oil every engine. Doesn't need more than 2 quarts to run it. It's test in. So I analyze all this stuff. I make it foolproof for customers when they come here. If you have a shovel or an Evo, if you've got the old style pump that feeds and returns through the top, the outside's always the feed, the inside's always the return. I write F and R and the V on the back of the case for feed, return, and vent. So when you're doing the plumbing on your bike, you know where this stuff's supposed to go. And as you're taking your bike apart, you should be taping that with that V, F, and R, so you can go right back to where it's supposed to be. A lot of guys don't know how to do that. And I've had customers take stuff home. This was a terrible experience. I'm not going to say his name. You suck, bro. I'm sorry. And that's that. You fucking suck. And I'll never, ever, ever do a fucking thing for you again. We gave him ample opportunity to bring that engine back over here, clearly knowing. He sent me pictures. He took this engine home. He hooked it all up, sent me pictures. He basically took the cam chest vent, the case vent, both vents for the air, right? To a T-block, to an oil bag with a screw-in cap. So where's all your internal air pressure, your case pressure going? Now you're just building it up inside the engine, right? So then it's going to start squeezing oil out of like journals and lifters and
everywhere.
And it'll cavitate the lifters first because it's internal, and then it's going to start pushing out from those points on. And we've experienced this. He tells me, "Oh man, it's clacking real hard." So I adjusted the push rods. I'm like, "Oh dude, no. Wait a minute. You did this and this and this, and then you adjusted the push rods, and then basically wrecked this motor." And then treated me like I was the bad guy and yelled and screamed and fuck you and you should buy this one back and all the other ones you built me because now I don't trust them and this and that. But yet I see this guy on one of my engines riding around all over the country, not telling the whole story about, well, hey, that one's still running. So I've seen you doing wheelies and burnouts, and let's tell the truth about what's really happening here. You fuck your shit up and you don't want to own up to it. And you send me proof like this. That type of behavior can really put a damper on somebody wanting to put their name on the line. And being able to trust you to do the work yourself. So another engine builder locally tells me, you should just do this policy, Jenny. If we don't install it, and we don't install the ignition, and we don't install the carburetor stuff, and we don't break it in, there's absolutely no warranty. You are on your own. Especially if I've shared the pictures through the entire build and your stuff is seen running on Instagram, then how can I warranty? How could I, you know what I mean? It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild to be in that position. Yeah. So that type of behavior, and especially in the, later years, like now, the some of the younger kids coming up in the community, I'm 45, some of just did during their 20s, no insult to y'all. It's not quit treating these engines like
nobody in their 20s listens to this podcast.
All right.
Our demographics is like 31 to 49.
Perfect. Yeah. Never know. I don't want to be that dick. Just take the time. Spend the time with me. If you have questions and you're a customer after the time, I'm usually pretty easygoing about that type of stuff. And I would rather see you succeed than have an engine that you fucked up and you got mad at me because you can't own up to your stuff. That's pretty hard. And that type of behavior, and if it kind of dragged out for like a whole year, and he was given multiple opportunities to like pull this engine out. And I said, look, if you bring it back over here, we'll slam it apart real quick. It was an Evo. We did, at that point, everything was new. So for the most part, unless it crashed all the valves, right? Because if you just push rods, then you got to worry about valve crash. But the opportunity was given, and we're pretty easygoing people. I honor my shit. That one, I probably shouldn't have been so nice about, but I still was nice enough to say, hey, look, you pay for parts. We'll take care of you. We'll send you down the road, and that way you're happy. Life goes on. Only because I don't know. I'm not going to get into that part, but, it almost becomes, the engines almost become expected. So what a lot of the guys in the community, they hop on their M8s, they hop on their twin cams, they push the button, they get down the fucking road, right? And then they get into choppers. They don't realize that Evos and shovels and pans, they do require work to keep moving. Yeah. My friend Tony being one of them. He's a push button, Softail Sportster kind of guy, won a bike in a raffle. And he tells me all the time, it's just too much for me. I don't understand it. And I want to get into it, but it seems like it's not my level. And there's other guys that aren't smart. Not to be not smart. Let me make sure I say this the right way. There's guys that get into it and they haven't done their homework in depth, and they keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And then the engines and the trannies on these older bikes almost become expected to operate like their M8s and twin cams, and it doesn't happen. And then when it doesn't happen, they get upset. So it's kind of tough. I love doing this kind of work. And
you know what? What you're just saying there too. It's like, if you're putting together a bike, all right, and you have a built motor or whatever, like on my shovel head, when I bought that bike, that engine was built, so I didn't have to do anything with it. I already fucked that thing up. I didn't even break that bitch in. I just threw it in, fucking sent it down the road, and it's leaking out of the rockers and stuff. I'm actually, after this episode, I'm going to go down and see how my fucking oil lines are routed. You only have yourself to blame. I'm like medically, I'm retarded. I shouldn't have been able to put this shovel head together. I did it, and it's definitely not like professional. You know what I mean? Like, there's shit that, like, people ask me for, I don't know why, but some people ask me for advice. They're like, like, oh, how do you align a transmission and shit? And like, oh, should I get this and that? Don't ask me. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm guessing the entire way through. I have all sorts of weird shit on my bike. Like I'll use a nut as a spacer, like things aren't aligned. That's part of learning, though. You know what I mean? Like, this bike is definitely less shitty than my last bike, and my next bike will be less shitty than the one I just built. But you only have yourself to blame. You know what I mean? Don't go blaming your engine builder. That thought didn't even cross my mind, by the way. Like, my engine had papers from a shop, like here in Nashua or whatever. And yeah, it's like leaking out of the rocker. I can only assume it's something I did wrong. It's not something they did wrong.
You've been tough on it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm just like, yeah. I spent a lot of time like fucking. The thing, like, when I ran it last year, the thing was leaner than fuck. I had like a velocity stack on a Super E, dude, and thing got like way too fucking hot. Didn't break it in. I might now that I know 26 by 26 by 26, I might be shipping this thing to you by the end of this year, but I don't know. We're gonna send it this year, see how we do.
You're killing me. Do you have a thermal scanner? I totally want you to send me a video later with a thermal scanner on this thing, see how hot this thing is. Now I'm curious. One cylinder would be 240, the other would be like 400.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I take the spark plug out and it's just like melted. I'm like, oh, I'll just put a new one in. It's probably fine.
Holy shit!
Not that bad. Not that bad.
How old are you?
Yeah, if you're melting spark plugs, we got a serious issue.
I'm surprised it's even running.
Oh, it's because I use 60 weight instead of 50.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Cover up anything. Cover up anything.
Yeah. So you have two very unique qualities, Kenny. Number one, you're the only guest that this podcast has ever had that has a lost episode that will never be heard by any other viewer. The second special distinction that you are honored with is that you're the only other vapor honer to be interviewed on the podcast, aside from yours truly. Now, we got into this the first time we talked, but you're a big proponent of vapor honing.
I am.
And you do that as a service, like included in your engine bills. So tell us a little bit about like your setup and how you got into vapor honing and what you use it on.
So, oddly enough, I just happened to see the machine and the way they process the parts. And I'm like, man, that's really nice. Like this thing, dry blasting sucks. It's everywhere. Come on, we all know it. And you got some cheap Harbor Freight cabinets and they try to compete with that crap and junk. And then I see guys trying to make vapor hunting cabinets out of vapor hunting cabinets out of Harbor Freight cabinets. I'm like, dude, what are you gonna think about all the water and the glass being abrasive that sits inside that steel cabinet? What are you gonna do one day when it just rusts a hole through it, right? So you're best off using a stainless steel vapor hunting machine or a plastic machine from like Vapor Hunting Technologies. I used two of their machines for 4.5 years. Yeah. 2 weekend warriors. And man, I love it. We did really well for ourselves. I started vapor blasting by design in 2020. And I started it with like $7,000. And I bought the machine, an air compressor, I had a dye blaster. I started that way. And then another guy here in town, Randy, he goes, I bought a machine, but I don't use it. You interested in buying it? So I bought this machine used. And it wasn't shortly after we bought the first one that happened. And I thought, shit, we should look after it. And we offer chem stripping. We can peel powder coat up pretty quick. The Benco B17 and the B15. Yeah, we talked about this last time. The stuff is brutal. It will burn your skin. It is absolutely toxic. Man, it works. So what I usually do is I'll take an engine as it goes apart. We'll take it to the wash tank. I'll try to degrease as much of it as I can. From that point on, we stick it in a barrel full of chemical stripper and I let it sit there for a while. It also eats and dissolves oil and any kind of like buildup. I want it eating down the oil journals. The OG way of blasting Eagle and shovelhead cases is actually to drill a hole in the bottom of the cam chest where that little weld is, the little circular weld. There's a little port in there and it'll fill up with glass feed. Never liked that. I never wanted to drill into the case. Didn't really care for that. The vapor hunting machine actually helps avoid that by being the flow that it does, and you can work and you can do your finish. First, I would use the stripping machine, the heavy stuff, and then I would move to the fine machine. And then you could take the water hose for rinsing everything off and feed it through all of those journals and get all this stuff clean. And you could be reassured that you actually had gotten an engine that had been done the right way, gotten back down. When you go to a machine shop, they stick it in a worm tank. They get all the oil and grease off before they machine it. We're basically doing the same thing using chemical stripper. Prep it off, vapor hone it, rinse it off, air dry it. You want to immediately get after it with the air dry to get that nice finish, or you'll have streaks and runs. Practically use it on everything. I don't think I'd ever dry blast again, to be honest with you, unless it was like full set cars. And then I would try to like still find a way to vapor on it without having.
I think a lot of guys do. I'm in a lot of groups like vapor honing stuff, and a lot of dudes dry blast first to get off the paint, to get off like some of the heavy grime and stuff, which is helpful. And I have a dry blast cabinet myself, but it's still super messy. It's not that rewarding. It's those things get clogged up. It fucking sucks. But I was thinking about this Benco stuff this week because we talked about it last week when we had this interview. And this is like the legit shit. You need like an IEN number or whatever, like a business number to get it.
Yeah.
But I had to strip. I tried to fix my paint job on the shovel head and I absolutely fucked it up. So I had to strip all the paint off, like thick, like a whole full paint job, image transfer, clear coat, 2K. And I was just like, dude, I wish I just had a bucket to dip this shit in and just be like, done. So I'm definitely going to get I'm going to get like a 5-gallon jug. It'll probably last me a lifetime. Just whenever I have something with powder coat or something, give it the dip like Roger Rabbit, throw it in the vapor honer. And the vapor honer is like, if it's not paint, you know what I mean? Like it has a hard time with paint unless you're using like, I haven't had a lot of success with like more aggressive vapor blastings, like aluminum oxide and stuff like that. I think it's pretty much round glass bead is like the finish. It's like a finishing thing, a cleaning thing. Anything heavy duty, you want to get the dip or do a dry blast first.
I don't know.
What do you think? Have you had success with that? The more aggressive stuff?
I don't use the. Hey, go on. I don't use aluminum oxide. You put aluminum oxide into water, it gets weird. And I've tried baking soda in the machine. It worked okay. It wasn't very aggressive. If you guys really want to get the finish, try 120 grit garnet. It's amazing. And garnet, yeah. It's red. It's just crushed up garnet. 80
I have some of that, yeah.
The 120 is the best for what we're doing here. Could you not get your machine to push it?
The garnet, I had a different machine at the time. I haven't tried it recently.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So if you're going to do this efficiently, it's always recommended to have 2 machines. If you're going to do it like that and you have a dry cabinet, I would say use the garnet in the dry cabinet and then use the fine stuff in the vapor honing cabinet, and you'll end up with pretty close to the similar finish that I do.
Really?
Yeah. And then after it's done, depending on what's going on, like a lot of times we'll can strip and repowder coat. So my girlfriend does all the prep work on the powder coat stuff. We powder coat in house here. I've got an oven out there. At our other location, we talked about this last time. We've got an oven big enough to basically put a whole truck in. And
holy shit!
That's
is
wild.
it something you built yourself, or did you buy an oven that big?
No, my cousin built it actually. He's been after it for quite a while now, and he's got his vapor honing machine. So, do you have a vapor honing technologies machine?
No, I built one out of a Harbor Freight cabinet.
Oh my god, here I was giving you shit. So,
well, I've built 4, so I'm pretty good at it.
So, did you line the inside of it with anything?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. A lot of guys will just do this, and they'll just leave the water and they'll leave the material in there. And obviously it's only powder coat over that, and it's like cheap steel. So you run into some issues where eventually after it's, set there, it rusts through. And next thing you know, you come out one day and it's all on the floor.
Dude, I had the Harbor Freight one. So I'm going to shout out HTMR, How to Motorcycle Repair. He sells plans to convert one Harbor Freight cabinet. He also has one made out of wood, believe it or not.
Interesting.
Yeah, really good. So I had actually I got a Trinco, like, oh shit, what the fuck? I didn't even mean to do that. Sorry, guys. I had
You really like
I got
Trinco,
like a Trinco. I got a huge cabinet. It was 5 feet by 4 feet by 4 feet, a huge industrial like sandblasting cabinet.
Wow.
And I converted that into a vapor blasting cabinet.
It was massive.
And I ran that for Yeah, it was huge, dude. It was 5 feet long.
Two
It was
person.
6 feet tall. Yeah, it was 2 bays, and I was doing frames and stuff in there. Or just like it was nice to have the space for like huge engine, multiple engine parts and shit like that.
Right.
But it just took up too much space in my garage. So I sold that to some dude, and I ended up building a new one, Harbor Freight, and then I just have the dry blast cabinet, and right next to it is the one that I built, the Harbor Freight one, but it doesn't have the water sitting in it. It's in a sump pump bucket underneath it. So it's all, so after I'm done blasting, I leave the door open and it dries out, and I haven't had any problems. And this is the second Harbor Freight one that I did. But if I had a business like and I had the money, I definitely do that. But like the HTMR plans, you can build them for $500. Probably the one I have is probably about $1,200 because it has a heater in the water. It has like, it's a closed loop system, and it has like water purification and all that shit. So
Nice.
it's pretty trick.
Yeah. No,
I gotta try that garnet.
The garnet works really well. I've seen a lot of guys this is what I meant with the Harbor Freight stuff. If you can convert them, hey, by all means. These machines cost a lot of money. Have you looked at the Raptor blasters? They're like $9,000. And
oh yeah,
the Vapor Honey Technologies ones, the Weekend Warriors, they're like $3,200 delivered. So they're still expensive. If you can convert, by all means, do so. What I've seen a lot of guys do in the beginning was they would put the slurry pump in the cabinet, and then it would sit inside there with all the water, but it wasn't in a sectioned off containment like a remote container. And next thing you know, it's sitting on the ground and the slurry pump, and it's a bad deal. So I've seen a lot of that in the beginning, and man, I in the 4 years that we've done this, I've seen like 8 or 9 shops open up and close, and we've stayed steady at about $80 an hour. So there's a demand for it. It's just finding it.
Yeah, I think the important thing is too is like, because I've helped. I've had people reach out and just do some small scale like vapor honing stuff, and I think the key is it's a finishing thing. It's a finishing process. You can't do chrome. You can't strip powder coat really easily. You know what I mean? Like, so having like industrial chemical stripping or really good dry blasting capabilities, it speeds the process up a lot. And that like throughout like, Rhino Resto, I found that like at first, you just take on whatever and it will strip powder coat very slowly. You know what I mean? And then it's just not worth your time. You know what I mean?
And the customer gets angry because you racked up a huge bill, and it's like,
oh yeah,
you're not very pleased with that. I'm explaining.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're paying for that finish because, like, if you blast a carb, vapor hone a carb, or vapor hone like, cylinders, heads, whatever, like, it looks better than any other process because it's cleaning, it's peening, it's and especially like with carbs and stuff. Like you get that water flows through all those little tiny passages and shit. And it gets stuff that like chemicals, like just blasting it with carb cleaner isn't going to get. And actually I did start off with a VHT micro hone. It's about this big. It wasn't worth I think it was like $800, and you could probably fit like maybe 2 carbs in it at a time, and it wasn't very powerful. But I would say skip that. The Weekend Warrior looks pretty slick. If you want to make a business out of it, it's probably worth the investment. And they do have pretty good customer service too. Because I did have some problems with the micro home.
It was well worth it. We made so much money off of that. 4 years I've been able to pay my bills, and I was doing engine work on top of that, and we did pretty well. I can't complain. I actually like vapor honing. I like taking old stuff and making it look new again. With actual, almost a manufacturer spec. I tried to get that as close to cast aluminum out of the cap that I could, without affecting the look of most engines, because you can really tell. Like, some of these guys they'll buy the machines and they'll go right to the BT13 or the really fine stuff. and they'll vapor hone the shit out of it. And it's got this weird polish to it. And it's not how they're supposed to look. They have that nice cast. Just came out of the factory.
A little shimmer.
Yeah. Yeah. With a nice satin look to it, and I don't know, man. Vapor honing, I think people will start to get away from the dry process more and more, knowing what vapor honing worms are.
Just like mating surfaces. Like if you've ever had to scrape a fucking gasket off of like a head, you know what I mean? Like the amount of time that takes and the amount of gouges your fucking gorilla ass puts in that shit. Like once you vapor hone a gasket off, you're just like, dude, it's perfect. It's perfect. You haven't removed any material. It hasn't warped. Like it's gentle enough that even if you have damage on an area, like it's not going to further damage it, like blasting it with dry slag or some bullshit. So it's really rewarding. I'm glad I have it. And again, like I've gone through and fucked up a bunch of my own stuff. Like you cannot, if you have chrome that's peeling off and rusting, you can't vapor hone it and it magically like repairs itself. You know what I mean? Like it's not magic. It's just like it, but it's perfect for aluminum parts and like definitely like internal engine components and shit. Like I got my ratchet top and it was like, that was fun, dude. Like blasting that and having that fucking thing. It's like, I think it's a 79 ratchet and, it just looks brand new. All the parts laid out and everything just fits together real nice. You're not like forcing anything together. Everything, all the gears and shit. It's just like, it's kind of fun. It's kind of weird to have something that's 45 years old or whatever. And, it's brand new again and you're reassembling it and everything's just kind of like, just like it was at the factory. You got the new fucking gaskets and shit. It's really satisfying.
Yeah. Yeah. And you get, to be able to show something that clean when you're like, you could go put on white rubber gloves or white gloves. And you could do the white glove test on your stuff. And my tools might have some grease on them and you're trying to, clean that up. Yeah. Like you notice that your cases don't have that on there. If you do it the right way and you chemistry them, and then, you can even bake them, wash them, bake them, chemistry them, vapor hone, and wash them with soap and water after that and dry them off. Man, it's like brand new. Yeah. Brand new. How could you argue that? And you go to put it together and you hand this stuff to a customer and they're like, and they know they're ready, they expect them, the moment was spent wisely.
Oh, dude, that's like, that's the thing is like, I got into vapor honing because I was amazed by it. You know what I mean? Because like, as a dude that works on old motorcycles and shit, it's like, yeah, you can put in some elbow grease and you can get shit looking pretty good, but you cannot get it as fast and you can't get it as good as like vapor honing, like, and that it's like, I'm amazed though. A lot of people can't make it into a full-time business, like a lot of the people just do it part-time. I don't know what the key is there to like go full-time. You have to process a fuck ton of parts. You have to have a pretty big compressor and you have to have a steady stream of parts coming through.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. You got to get yourself out there on the map. You got to have a website. Yeah. You got to have a phone number. You got to answer that phone. You got to be nice. You
got to be nice. That's the hardest part.
You got to push all this out there, plus be the guy doing it or have somebody on your side doing it. You got to know what to go after. If you're in the Harley world, this is some of the problems that we have. Being in the Harley world, most people know me for Harley shit. So who's gonna want to send me their Lamborghinis, right? So we have to start figuring out, how do I hide away from some of it and have my front people do it, and then I can do what I want to do, and then let this business start operating and rolling, right? So I stepped back and I had my girlfriend step up. She went out, started getting some accounts, started working through stuff. I quit talking to the customers, which I thought was great. And I wish I could do this at Kenny's House of Horsepower too, but that'll never happen. I am the guy here, but we started getting into different things like looking for corporate accounts, looking for commercial stuff, making sure you got to have insurance, you got to have certificates, you got to have, proof that you have garage keepers insurance. So if they do bring you a $15,000 Lamborghini intake or whatever they cost, or a transmission case, or, or like the one place we were telling you about, we were doing circuit boards. The nice part about vapor honing is if you really know how to surface prep and you know the logistics of it, you can use the vapor honing to remove tooling marks from CNC style boards. So you go in and you can hit it with so much pressure, certain kind of material, and you remove the cutting marks from the end mill bit. And then they'll take it, they'll wash it, and then they'll anodize it, and then they go make circuit boards out of this stuff. We were doing a lot of these for a company that was turning hydrogen and water into electrics. And we had got so in tune that these guys had what they called a CMM machine. It's a computerized measuring machine, and it would check the tolerances on things, right? So at 100 PSI, now remember this is, I'm giving you a little secret here. At 100 PSI with what they call BT10, it's, I'll get you the mixture level of the BT10 at 100 PSI, removing the tooling marks. It will only move the aluminum. It will peen the aluminum 4 microns. We've been with a machine. So they measure it before it comes here, and then they measure it when it goes back. And it only moves it 4 microns, which is nothing. It's nothing. Your eye would never even notice that, right? So it's actually restructuring the metal, and it's only 4 microns, which we thought was pretty crazy. I was like, holy shit. Yeah. So that's what it's like. And that's tooling type of aluminum, the hard stuff for CNC. And, you're fucking with cast cases over here. So you get to thinking about it. It might move it more than 4 microns, but it's not enough to make a difference. So unlike dry blasting, where if you left it there, it'd eat a hole through it. It would start. It'd start.
Dude, 4 microns is like the thickness of a pubic hair. But 100 PSI is kind of high for vapor honing too.
Well,
but you're going for the peening.
They wanted the tooling marks removed. I guess they had a guy in Canada. They came with a whole spec sheet, so I just followed their spec sheet. Like this corporate had gotten into it in Canada so intense. Dude, they spent like hundreds of thousands of dollars vapor honing with this guy. And I'm like, why didn't you come here? We could have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars vapor honing too, but over time they ended up doing that. And it's pretty amazing what they had going on. We've done everything from circuit boards to antiques for antique shops, brass, bronze types of weird stuff, to cylinder heads, to blocks, car blocks. We have a machine in Kansas called the BH1000 from Vapor Honing Technologies, and it's got a rotary table in it with a heater and an automated arm that will do it all for us. And
oh fuck
yeah, we're about to get that thing rocking and rolling here pretty soon. So that would be nice to get into some farm equipment, start cleaning that type of stuff.
Yeah, and then you're not paying an operator, dude. Right? I mean, it just spins it and blasts it on its own.
Yep.
I've seen that thing. That's fucking sick.
Pretty expensive piece of machinery. And
yeah,
Marcus bought us out actually a couple months ago. He bought out my vapor honing business, and he was my apprentice over here. Super nice guy. And he's 25. And he said, hey man, I want to do something. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to have a regular job. He's got a screwed up hand. We call him the claw. He got in a off-roading accident and smashed his hand and lost a couple of fingers. And he's like, I just.
Which ones? Thumb?
He's like this. He's missing his index and his middle. So
he's just constantly like rock and roll, bro.
Yeah, or he's giving him the shocker.
The shocker with the thumb. That is a shocker.
Yep. I always give him shit.
That'll wake you up.
We got so fucking drunken. We got so fucking drunken Sturgis. And I fucking grabbed his hand, and there was like a whole bunch of bartenders standing there, and I was like something or Mark. I don't know how the conversation come up, but they were talking about it. And I was like, Marcus will give you the perfect shocker or some shit like that. They want me to feel fucking embarrassed. Oh, I give him so much shit, dude. He's such a good kid.
That's funny.
And he
Awesome.
bought him. And I got to tell you, man, he's crushing it over there. It's a viable business if you really put forth the effort of learning surface prep. It's a lot of fun.
That's awesome, dude. Oh shit, passing the torch down. What else do we have? Oh yeah, what was it? What was his Instagram again? Just to shout it out, it was Vapor Honing by Design, at Vapor Honing by Design.
Vapor Blasting by Design.
Oh, at Vapor Blasting by Design
Yep.
on Instagram.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm pretty proud of him. He's doing well. He's been calling me every couple of days, and I got more business. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, keep pushing it. It'll keep coming. We had stuff going on every single day, so we couldn't complain. You know, it's you've been doing this for a living for a while too, I suppose. Kind of, you're making machines, and you do pretty well at it.
Yeah, I do. So I've been doing it part-time since 2020, and I went hard in the paint to start, and I made some really good money doing it. But then I had to, I just have so much other stuff, other priorities that it was taking so much time. At one point, it was taking up so much of my time that I was taking time off my day job to catch up on stuff. And I was just like, I can't balance the two things. So I started taking on less work. I got a lot more selective about my work. And then I started charging more, which that really helped alleviate like most the work, you know, because I actually don't, I stopped doing like car stuff. You know, people are like, oh, I got this fucking intake on the fucking whatever. I'm not a car guy. I don't even know what the fuck it is. I'm like, how long is that? Can you put a tape measure up to that thing? I can't quote that.
Yep.
I don't even know what that is.
Yep.
I actually did a little bit of work for a machine shop because it was for like some aeronautical stuff, and they had like these holes drilled in these aluminum parts for a turbine, and they need them deburred. But I was like, I didn't really want to get into what I really enjoy is when someone brings me like a pan head or a shovel head, and I get to do cases or carburetor rebuilds. I actually really love like just rebuilding carburetors. So that's the kind of stuff I do now. I just do what I like, and I won't take on too much work because I just don't have the time, you know, like aside from the podcast, like, dude, I have like fucking goats and dogs and cats and chickens and turkeys and young kids. I got twin boys. They're fucking maniacs. I just have house projects, just unlimited house projects, like big projects too. So right now I'm just kind of like, if someone approaches me and they're like, yeah, I got this cool thing and I have time to do it, I'll do it. And if not, you know, c'est la vie. But I just doing that, like if I was to do that full time, like that would be, now that I know that they have an automatic one with a little spinning table and shit, maybe I'll just invest in that, and then I'll just do my day job and have that fucking thing running all day, just doing parts. I'll throw whatever in there.
Or you find somebody.
I don't give a fuck.
Here's what I did.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm obviously busy with King's House of Horsepower. I've got a lot of stuff going on over there between decking heads and cleaning and parts and, you know, coated cylinders. All that stuff falls in line. So what I ended up doing was just having an employee. I'll give away the secret. I was charging $80 an hour. So technically I was making 40 because I paid an employee 20, and then I pay electric $20 an hour, water, electric supply. And, you know, as a business model, you gotta make some money, right? So I'm putting 40 away. Technically I'm making $20 an hour, but I have somebody else doing it. And it kind of worked out pretty well where we had, you know, hell, Barbie, my girlfriend, she's really good at paper. Like, I can't tell you how many douchebag ass car dudes come over here and act like she don't know shit about nothing. And that woman can build a whole engine out here. I rest assure you, if I die, she ever moves on and she meets another biker and he starts talking engines, she's gonna be like, shut the fuck up, asshole. you don't know shit, like she's pretty smart, dude.
Yeah.
That woman, she's good. She does all her prep work. She knows how to shoot flywheels. The only thing I couldn't see her doing, not that she can't, I just don't see her doing it, it's loading cylinders. So she would do what I do is if I got a bunch of them, I'll outsource them to the machine shop and say, hey, knock all these cylinders out for us and we'll move forward.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, she's smart, man. Built a whole bike by herself. And, she did tons and tons of vapor hunting and really, really good at it. And it's amazing how many guys would call and be like, so is there a guy there that I can talk to? Or, yeah, right. Oh, man. Hey, you shake your head, lock tight, you shake your head. But it would happen 6 out of 10 calls. And it would always be like, is Kenny there?
Wild.
Right. Is Kenny there? No, I'm busy. What can I do for you? Or we would leave town or I'd be on the way home from Sturgis or something or on a trip and they would, oh, I'll just wait till you get home. And I'm like, Barbie's there. Oh, I'll just wait till you get home. I'm like, well, I don't understand why you guys feel a woman can't do the job. This woman goes out there and works circles around me in that cabinet. And half the time you guys don't even realize that she's doing all the blasting. And she would take all that money and get ahead, and I'd say, just put it in your pocket. You're working for me. I'll just pay you, X amount and put the rest in the business. And we survived. Hell, her son would go out there. He's 17 now. When he was 14 and 15, even now on occasion, he would go out there and vapor out. And it takes a village, man, to make a business operate. Mm-hmm. And it's not easy by any means.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's great that, it's great to know that there's still guys like you out there, still young, have many productive years ahead of you doing this, carrying the torch. Cause dude, these, like I said, dude, there's no 18 to 25-year-olds listening to this fucking podcast right now. You know what I mean? Like, they're not interested in this shit. They're interested in their fucking phones and their fucking flip flops and socks and shit. They don't want to get their hands dirty. You know what I mean? They don't want to learn these like, to them, this is going to be like fucking witchcraft to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's only a handful, like, it's not a huge community, dude. Like, I think I know everybody that's into motorcycles across the United States. Like, thanks to social media, you know what I mean? Like, I know every single person that's into choppers and building shit. I at least know them like tangentially, like through the lens of social media. But it's important work because, if someone doesn't teach you how to do this shit, you're not going to know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kids aren't going to these fucking vocational schools and getting a lot of knowledge. Like, I haven't heard a lot of great shit, even in the fucking schools that specialize in this shit, like MMI. Like, I haven't heard great things about that either, Which you have an MMI out in Arizona there. I had some buddies when I was living out there. They were going to MMI, and one of them moved back to Oregon, and he's still doing it. And he had a sweet old Harley, and at the time, I didn't know what the fuck it was. I didn't know how cool it was. He was like, slick back hair, like black t-shirt, shit, fucking cigarettes rolled up in the sleeve type shit. And I was riding a 250 scooter, so I didn't have but he let me roll, dude. He let me roll. We'd go to the biker bars and shit. I'd pull up on my 250 like, and then we'd be there till like 3 in the morning, and then I'd fucking dump it in the gravel parking lot on the way out, and he'd be like, "Hop on, baby," and then I'd be I had to get on the back of his bike. I remember this one time I came out, dude, and I could not get out of this parking lot because it was like gravel, and for some reason because I was so drunk, like I couldn't get the throttle just to feather so I could take off slowly. Did I just immediately burn out, like rocks flying, and I'm on the ground. And I remember these like girls came out of the bar and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Where were you 10 minutes ago?" And he's just like, "Hop on, Poppy. I'll take you home." Like get on his bike. And I'm just like, hope. And it was like in the shitty end of Phoenix, and I'm like, I didn't lock it up. It was just like still like on the ground. I went and got it the next morning. It was still there. But
it's driving.
Yeah, dude.
That's wild.
Surprising. Marcus went first, got drunk, fucking laid that FXR over that he got from us, and he left it there for like 5 days or something. I'm like, I'm surprised that Apple car is still there, dude. I'll be honest with you. That's a hot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're highly stolen out here, and
Yeah.
I'm totally blown away. Yeah, we do have an MMI out here. We have the swap meet that goes on every couple of months or something like that. I don't do much with the school. I never went to the school there. I just learned from guys that knew from top fuel bikes down to stock repairs, man. They kind of just did everything. And, you know, the school's not going to teach you how to deal with bad customers. They're not going to teach you how to deal with being the punching bag, being the salesman, being the builder. They don't teach you all of that. They just teach you the technical aspects of what's going on. A lot of guys tell me like the vintage class, it teaches you a lot, but not everything that you really should know, like, you know, servicing heads, servicing cylinders. They don't teach you that type. They just teach you how to take it apart and put them together. That
Right.
I'm not insulting it. I probably should get my certifications. It would probably take me a lot further, especially in the later model stuff as we progress into that. But I don't know. I've heard good and bad. Like some people don't do business with people that have went to MMI. Some shops don't hire MMI students. If they do, it's the bottom of the barrel of money. You know, Harley dealerships. And to be honest with you, dude, I look at it like this: if you spent all that money to go to school, would you really just want to go be a Harley tech your whole life at Harley and work for a company that like it's always something when you could save a little more dough, work a regular job, be that Harley tech, go home and work on stuff, and then open up your own shop. Have some goals with that. They can take it the distance, you know. I didn't expect where I'm at now to be anything like it is. I can't believe we're this far, to be honest with you. I can, but I can't. I'm really stoked about it. And to be worldwide, it's insane, especially having no like certifications, none of that stuff. We just trained under old timers and progressed on. I really think that's the real way this is going to progress on is if we keep teaching people as it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like that's the way it has always been, right? It's like you meet people that know what the fuck they're doing. They teach you because you've earned their respect, and then you get to carry the torch on, you know? And yeah, there's no shortcuts, you know? It's hard to meet those graybeards though, right? They're wizardly and you might not have one in your area, you know, but thanks to social media and YouTube University, you can still hack it. You can fake it till you make it. But if you find someone that's willing to help you out and teach you, that's kind of a cheat code for life. You know what I mean? Like you get to skip a lot of the bullshit, and they're like not even just the engine repair stuff, like how to run a business type shit too. You know what I mean? Like be open-minded and listen to people, you know, like I guess that's my advice is like when you meet someone that knows what the fuck they're doing and they do it well, listen to them. Don't just fucking wait to start talking. Like fucking sit down, take notes, you know what I mean? Like look in their eyes and fucking watch their mouth move and try to ascertain everything that they're giving you because they're giving you a gift, you know?
Yeah. Well, the biggest part too is knowing like when to just listen and shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Don't ask stupid questions. Just listen and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Hey,
well, thank you all for listening to this show. And Kenny, we're gonna have you back on because there was so much stuff. Now I'm remembering it. Now there were another 2 hours in. So this is the longest interview we've ever done, by the way. You missed the first half, the first 2.5 hours. But we have to have you back on because there's a bunch of awesome shit that we said in the first one that I'm just now remembering we didn't get a chance to touch on in this one. But thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
We have to thank some of our sponsors. We're going to have some final words from Kenny, so stick around. But we have to thank some of those beautiful motherfuckers that make this show possible.
Up first, we got Dan from No Luck Paintworks in Manchester, New Hampshire, cooking up some of the dopest fucking paint jobs on the East Coast. Whether you need chopper paint or Dynabro paint, fancy bagger paint, Dan can make it happen. Hit him up, No Luck Paintworks on Instagram. Next, we got Deadbeat Customs, the creator of the Deadbeat Retreat. Steve has supported us through everything, including getting canceled. All right, so help us repay that debt by shopping at deadbeatcustoms.com. Use code LOWLIFE at checkout and go buy your tickets for Deadbeat. They're not out yet, but make sure you fucking get it when they come out. Next, we got Stay Strong Co., the motherfucking homie, the man with a plan, who makes the most delicious hot sauce in his white fucking pants and doesn't get a drop of sauce on him. He's a beast.
You gonna let him know? Let him know?
And listen, we've been talking about it. Been talking about a collab. All right? We've been talking about a collab with Stay Strong Co. and making a Lowlife Chopper Podcast hot sauce. I'm here to tell you, me and Ryan got sample bottles, bruh. And that shit is
real.
Delicious.
Fucking hot. It's fucking hot, too.
It's hot. It's hot. Here's the thing. Here's what I'll say about it is it's not burn your face off hot. It's not like one of those ones that are like on a fucking shelf with a warning label and like you do it as a gag. It's not that kind of hot. It's just
this shit ain't funny.
It's a spicy hot sauce. But here's the good thing about it is we told them like, hey, we want a spicy fucking hot sauce. We're two hot boys. You know what I mean? We want that hot sauce. And he fucking delivered. But here's the good thing about it is you get that heat, but then you also get like that, you get that back end that is like sweet and smoky and fucking, it's just amazing. It has like the notes of the shit hot sauce, but with a fucking twist of the devil's dick added to it. All right? So you're not going to want to fucking miss this.
Dude, it has fucking New Hampshire maple syrup in it.
New Hampshire maple syrup.
Heat.
Listen, we're not going to get too in-depth on the fucking recipe because we don't want to give away all of John's fucking secrets. But just know it has New Hampshire fucking maple syrup in it. It is delicious. Make sure you're following
None of that Vermont trash.
Yeah. Make sure you're following Stay Strong Co on Instagram so you can see when the fucking drop date's going to be. Wait until you see the bottles that were picked for this fucking special hot sauce. Wait till you see the label that yours truly, this guy over here, Rhino, designed. This is not a thing that's just being thrown together. This has been tested. Recipes have been tested. Taste testing has happened. Labels have been created.
Conference calls.
Bottles.
Business meetings.
Bottles have been fucking picked out and delivered. We've had conference meetings. This is something we're taking serious. Make sure you watch out for it. This is the legit collab from Stay Strong Co. and the Lowlife Chopper Podcast. You're not going to want to miss it. That was a long fucking ad read. Next, we got Lowbrow Customs. Everything you need for the road ahead. One of the only websites where you can build an entire fucking chopper in one fucking place for great deals. Tyler fucking doesn't mark the prices way up so you can't afford to fucking build. He supports every fucking grassroots chopper show. He's supporting the Lowlife Chopper Podcast. He's supporting the Lowlife Lowdown. All right? Lowlife is about it. So if you need chopper parts, get to lowbrowcustoms.com.
They actually have tons, just so you guys know, they have tons and tons of Colony stuff for your hardware, for your engines. And your,
yeah.
That is one of the very few places.
That's what I always tell people. People don't know. Like, people think, I feel like when people think of lowbrow, like, oh, yeah, you can buy the gas tanks and shit there. You can literally buy everything. You can buy specialty tools for shovel heads.
Yeah.
They have everything.
Yeah. But the Colony shit is legit too, because
it's nice.
That's the hardware you want to get, and they have a fuck ton of it. They have like everything.
Yeah, full case bolt kits. That stuff is not easy to find anymore. You can get the whole kit and a big board, every case bolt you need in there. That stuff, I mean, unless you're a colony dealer, you're not going to get that anywhere other than these guys. I promise you.
Yep.
In the public. So make sure to buy that stuff up. They appreciate it.
Hell yeah. Next up, we got Matt. You heard him on Got Wood a couple weeks ago.
Sure.
At Burnt Up Wood Burning. Coincidentally, this month's giveaway sponsor. I got it right here. I'm going to show it.
Keeping your vice here, buddy.
Oh, look at that shit.
Nice.
This is a one-off. Never to be made again. Totally customized. Matt, he doesn't use fancy computers. I don't know if he even owns a computer. He uses the mitts to make art out of wood.
And burn.
He's a naturalist. Yeah, he burns it. Creativity through destruction. But go follow at Burnt Up Wood Burning. Go listen to the episode Got Wood. Get on that Patreon because we're pulling this shit either next week or the week after. Next up, we got Hui Motor Co. That's HUI Motor Co. up in Canada. Gear for riders so you can still afford to ride. I like that because I am a broke ass motherfucker all the time. I thought by this time in my life I'd have some money. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, by the time I'm 40, I'm gonna have like, I'm gonna be making a lot of
savings
money.
account.
I can barely afford my car payments.
Yeah,
I'm living paycheck to paycheck. So get on over to Hui Motor Co. And he is donating a vest to the Lowlife Lowdown show. So we're gonna do a raffle there. So thank you for that. Again, these vests, they got a place to put your glasses, dude. Elite shit, elite vests. Next up, we got our boy. The boy wonder from down under in Connecticut. He's south of us. Oxford Co. Choppers. Chris over there, he does full fab. You lucky motherfuckers have a dude in Connecticut doing full time now.
Yeah.
Full fab, hardtails, handlebars, sissy bars.
The toughest fucking handlebars
for hard boys like yourself. So if you want, he makes the toughest bikes. Pretty sure he's doing 2 for the La Espada show. So actually, No Luck Paintworks is doing the paint job on it. So know it's going to be the hardest motherfucking bike at the show. And it was last time we went, that bad boy bike. So go check out Oxford Co. Choppers. Give him a follow. Buy his hats. Buy his handlebars. Buy his shit. Support good people. This guy's a fucking monster. Business.
Kenny, just give him a quick rundown on the services that you offer, how long your wait time is, how they can get a hold of you, and then they can catch more on the next fucking episode.
Hey, man, before that, I was sitting here looking at your bike. I've been sitting here looking at it for 10 minutes. That is a nice piece of machinery, man. Don't stop a bad idea. I like your soul, dude. Keep that up.
Oh, that's Loctite's bike.
Yeah. Talking about Loctite.
Oh, I can't even see the phone.
Oh, your bike is not safe, man. I like that.
Is that the shovel?
It is.
Yeah. That's the shovel.
That's a very, very slow moving train.
That's not cool.
Here's the thing though, is the last 3 bikes that I've built have been for a show or to be featured in a magazine or something like that. And I've had to just like hustle through them. Got to get this done. Got to put in fucking every waking moment in the garage. You know what I mean? And the last one I did was for the Greasy Dozen, was that shovel head that I built. And literally 400 hours logged on building that fucking bike. And it was like every moment I wasn't at my job, I had to be in the garage. And after I finished that build, I swear to God, I did not go. I was sharing a garage with one of my friends, Steve, at the time. And he did not see me in that garage for 4 months. I wanted nothing to do with it. I hated being in the garage. I didn't want to fucking touch the bike. I didn't want to do anything. I was like turned off from it. So this one, I'm just like, I like not having a deadline. I like people asking me, do you think we'll be done at this time? And I like saying, probably not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Maybe.
it's cool when it's like when I have nothing going on. The kids are out doing their fucking thing, whatever. The wife's doing her thing. And I'm like, I'm just come out here and poke around on this build for fucking an hour or 2 hours or 4 hours if I feel like it. And it doesn't matter how much I get done. So I like that part of this build where it's like there's zero pressure to get it done.
Right.
It's just zero pressure to like make sure I do enough cool shit because it has to be at this show. Like there's zero of that pressure. So I'm just trying to like live that moment as long as possible.
I totally agree with you. If I'm totally
Never finish it. Never finish it.
It's just never done. When I got grandkids, I'm like, that bike is gonna be sick when it's done.
Man, I like that. It's pretty nice. I'll be watching.
Well, the thing too is like now I have, and now that it's summer too, I'll obviously get more work done on it because I'll spend more time out here. But it's like before I didn't have other bikes that I could be riding. I mean, the Shovelhead I did, but that was for a show, so I was still on a timeline. But before I didn't have other bikes, so I was like, gotta get this done. That way I can fucking ride. But like now I have 2 other riding bikes. I have another bike outside. I have this bike. So it's like, I'm just going to pick away and just like really push myself to do shit that I haven't done yet. And hopefully it turns out to be fucking cool. Right now it looks pretty cool. But we'll see what it looks, see how bad I can fuck it up between now and the end.
I like the no pressure idea. I've done several on pressure, and man, it gets. When I came back from Sturgis this year, I spent like, geez, I to be honest with you, I'm still struggling to want to go back into the shop a little bit. I'm just like, nah. I've done everything in 10 years that I wanted to do, and it's always been under pressure all the time. And I thought, I just need a little break. I feel you. So some of your best work comes from when you're not under pressure. And then all of a sudden, it progresses into pressure because now you're in the show in it and you have to take it places. But that's okay. I don't mind that gradual steady of that type of pressure. But when you slam it on me, just like what you're talking about, and then say, well, this is, you got to get this done in this amount of time and you still got to be creative. It can be done, but it's not going to be as good as it gets under pressure.
Yeah. I'll tell you the only problem that I keep running into though is because it's taking so long to like really progress on it, I change my mind a lot. I'll have like a whole game plan of like how the bike's going to be and this and that. And then like time just like fills in and I'm like, well, fuck, what if I did it this way? And then, so the mind's just always moving. And like when I see Rhino post like a picture of his bike, we have 2 totally different stances. He has like what I call, and like most of us up here call like that New York tough guy stance, where it's just like short and low and like just a nice, clean fucking build. And then this one's kind of more of like a California, like Frisco style. So when I see bikes like his, I'm like, fuck, dude, I kind of want to build like that short little tough guy build and get rid of this whole fucking brand new front end that I just put on. And then a couple days will go by and I'm like, yeah, but this looks sick. So maybe I'll keep it. So it's like, I still don't know where the fuck this bike's going to end up, but I kind of dig how it sits now, but
I like it now.
We'll see.
Let's get it out.
Yeah. I keep telling people.
Go 6 under.
Literally every time I talk to somebody, even like my buddies, they're like, what do you think it will be done by Deadbeat or La Spada or fucking whatever show's coming up? I keep telling people probably by August. I'd be happy if I could ride it this fall.
Hell yeah.
Well, and that's very doable because like you can't see it totally in the video, I don't think, but it's a full roller. You know what I mean? It's got the front end, the gas tank, the bars, the motor, the trans, all that shit's in. I could ride it in 2 weeks if I wanted to, but it just goes back to like what I'm saying. I'm just enjoying the process of not having to grind it out.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Hell, even the Rust bike that I have, I'm still adding stuff to it as it goes. That's why I never even painted it. I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it together, ride it around. We'll make it look good. It'll be rusty, whatever. And then when I move, we get that situation going. I'll just take the whole bike apart and I'll run it right over the power clean up and I'll come up with something double as nice, It's
Right.
why be in such a hurry, especially if it's something you're going to keep forever. Customer stuff, yeah, I get it. But that thing looked nice, man. Totally nice. I'll be watching for that.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to convince you to go short on the front end. Nice and short. No more tippy toes at the stoplight, buddy.
It's just my style. I love it. I love the real skinny fucking bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. This has been great again. I'm actually kind of low-key happy that fucking episode got lost because we got to talk to you again 2 weeks in a row.
Hey, listen,
and maybe by some miracle they can recover it. You know,
you can ask
and then
Rhino.
we'll have 2 episodes.
When he hit me up and told me the episode's gone, I was devastated. When I'm not even kidding, Kenny, this is no bullshit. When we ended the episode, we all sat here and talked for 30 minutes, whatever. We hung up this call. I called Rhino immediately on the phone, and I was like, dude, hands down, going on almost 6 years, that was my favorite episode we've ever fucking recorded. That was my top episode. So when he called me and told me it was gone, I might have even shed a tear. No bullshit.
Like a single tear. It's okay to do one tear down the cheek.
Yeah, he's still tough if it's just one tear.
I was about to. I was like, wow, now I gotta find that. Now I gotta find that vibe again. I'm like, all right, we'll get there.
I know.
You know, and
yeah,
that's cool. Hey, if they do recover it, I would love to hear that one. That'll be like,
maybe I might even release the first 20 minutes. Well, we got the first 20 minutes, and then we got like the last minute and a half when like you dropped and reconnected. So maybe we can put that out for the laddies.
Yeah. Yeah. But Kenny, for real though, I would like to do another episode. Like we were talking about. Well, I guess nobody ever heard it because that episode's not coming out. But we talked about in that ghost episode of we're gonna do another series. That first series we did, the Chopping 101 people. You guys fucking loved it. And Rhino brought up like, hey, we should do like a deeper dive one. So I would definitely like to get you on once we get into not because last time we talked about rebuilding a motor. But once we get into like this next one, I'd like to like really dive in, like which cam is good for what you're trying to do, or what platform is good for what you're trying to do, what's transmission, what's setup, what pistons, what fucking compression ratio, whatever. It'd be dope to get you on for that one.
Yeah, we can get technical.
Yeah, because the last episode we got really deep. We were talking about like tolerances and all kind of. And that's what I was telling Rhino. That was one of my favorite parts because I grew up as like a car guy, so it's cool to like talk like something that nerdy shit. So I definitely want to make sure we get all that into the next episode.
Oh yeah, definitely. I hope they come up with that episode and just do it as like a limited time. I don't know, man. That'd be cool. That'd be cool to think about that one. That was a good.
I'm gonna
was great too.
At least I'm gonna do for the laddies. I'm gonna do that first 25 minutes, and I'll just put that over on the Patreon. So we got 1/4, or actually we got like I don't know, 1/8 of the show, but
yeah,
it was good. The first half was good. It got good. We even got we definitely have to get you back on because we got into fucking like electronic ignitions and all that shit too. Some really good tips. So so we're gonna do another episode with Kenny. I'm gonna release that fucking shit. Thanks again for coming on. Sorry about the last episode, but you are as unique as a albino skateboarder because this is the first and last time we will ever have to re-record. It'll never happen again.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you get over, give Kenny a follow on Instagram. If you need your fucking motor built, if you want to go fast, or if you have buddies that want to go fast because you're too fucking scared, hit Kenny up. Get the baddest motor in the fucking country. And until next week, see you later.